That again shows your ineptitude. And then, if that's not bad enough, you go to YouTube and you say Quantum TV is ban-evading, look at the Wayback Machine. They look at their records and then they look at the channel that you say is ban-evading, which is Quantum Apotheosis, and see that it's still active with no strikes or community guideline violations. Now you really look desperate to cancel somebody. And now
it is a grim day for us all as we now enter the dark age of YouTube.
You can't keep getting away with this!
Hello everyone, and today we are once again talking about Quantum TV, the number one brand in dishonesty. Well, it appears we are in a dark age of YouTube because the Ackman's video talking about this dark age has been taken down as of a few days ago for violating community guidelines which I watched the whole video a couple times before it was taken down in order to fully understand and grasp the concepts before I made this video. This is the age of YouTube we're in, where a copyright abuser and someone who's been taken down for hate speech wins. Now, we don't know for sure if it was Quantum TV's goons / fan base that had the Ackman's video taken down, as well as 3 of his other videos being demonetized, as well as Review Tech USA's video on him also being demonetized all in the same day within the same couple hours. We don't know that for sure, but it seems a little suspicious. Now, I was almost done with this video when I found this out, but the Ackman's channel has been fully demonetized. He had one strike that was a warning strike. Your channel should not be demonetized after one warning strike. So obviously, this is bigger than Quantum or his fan base. Now I see that. YouTube is trying to silence its creators. Any mention of the Ackman's name will get you demonetized. I'm not kidding. This has happened to several other channels. I've seen that on Twitter, and I'm really taking a risk with this. So please, just know, this video is to educate and to inform. It is not to dogpile, harass, or spread hate to Quantum TV. We are just pointing out the things he has done wrong. And in my opinion, you should be able to do that on YouTube without it turning into a hate campaign. I'd also like to say that I love YouTube. I've watched YouTube for many years, and I respect its creators on this platform, which is why I believe that the Ackman needs justice, and this should not stand for anyone. YouTube needs to know that it made a mistake. So if you care about this issue as much as I do, use the hashtag #JusticeForAckman on Twitter. We're trying to keep this trending on Twitter so YouTube knows it's in the wrong. And just know if you do, please keep it respectful. It is my wishes and also the Ackman's wishes that this is kept respectful. But this is, again, an example of the Streisand effect. YouTube should have just done nothing at all. Should have left the Ackman alone. Because if they were afraid of another adpocalypse, well this huge stink we're making may cause another adpocalypse. Probably the very thing they fear they are causing. But still, the Ackman shouldn't be silenced because they were afraid of an adpocalypse, because it was their doing in the first place. According to YouTube, Quantum has done nothing wrong. When there is ample evidence, he has done things wrong. But the person who takes the blame, the brunt, is the Ackman. When there is no evidence of him doing anything wrong to warrant the strike. Right now, the Ackman suspects that the photoshopped images of Quantum with a cucumber in his mouth are the reason for the strike. But the idea of a cucumber in your mouth is not inherently sexual. So for it to have been appealed and rejected or denied is ridiculous. I mean, seriously, Quantum TV has told people to go themselves.
at the end of the day, go yourself, man.
Multiple times. Not just in the context of Elden Ring. He has said it on numerous occasions in several different contexts. It's a lot worse than a cucumber being photoshopped into his mouth. And YouTube struck down the man who is trying to rise up for this community to say, this behavior is unacceptable. As a small creator, this is a terrifying precedent you are setting here, YouTube. We can just be wiped clean from the internet because we're pointing out somebody else's awful behavior, and let me set the record straight. Copyright abuse is not okay. Hate speech is not okay. Harassment and bullying is not okay. And in my eyes, all of these things have been breached by Quantum TV in one way or another, whether it have been through external links leading to his hateful Twitter and Facebook, or the very things he said through his own mouth on his own YouTube channels. In this clip, where he calls Selena Kyle a half-breed, that is hate speech. He's deleted the video. There's no proof per se on YouTube, but it doesn't deny the fact that he said it.
Enough.
And since we're on the topic of racist, remember when you called Lenny Kravitz's daughter a half-breed?
You had Selena Kyle, which is Lenny Kravitz's daughter, like a half-breed, basically.
And just to be clear, calling someone a half-breed is very derogatory and disgusting. As someone who's biracial myself, I take offense to that, because it's comparing us to an animal, a mixed breed. To be belittled in that way, from my own experience, because I am half white and half Hispanic, I've dealt with racism from both sides of the coin, but I digress a little bit. The reason I told that is to really give context as to why the term half-breed is so offensive. Now, according to YouTube's terms of service, is calling someone a half-breed hate speech.
True or false? If you make a video that compares people to animals or bugs because of their race or nationality, that could result in a strike on your channel. The answer is true. Hate speech is not allowed on YouTube. We remove content promoting violence or hatred against members of protected groups, including but not limited to race, gender, sexual orientation, or religious affiliation. We may allow content that includes hate speech, like news coverage of world events, if the primary purpose is educational, documentary, scientific, or artistic in nature.
So according to YouTube's guidelines, it is okay for me to educate you on why calling someone a half-breed is derogatory because it is educational. But Quantum TV calling her that is hate speech because it is comparing her to an animal. In my book, it's the same as calling a person a mutt, a dog without a pedigree. And you may be wondering why I was hitting that small statement so hard. Well, it's because Quantum's other channel, Quantum Apotheosis, was banned for hate speech. No matter how you look at it, it was banned. Even if it was reinstated, like people are now speculating, it was banned for hate speech. There is screenshots of videos against the LGBTQ community, tons of posts on his Twitter saying these people should have been victims of the Pulse night shooting. He said he was hacked, but the likelihood of that seems very low at this point when you just see that clip of him comparing Selena Kyle to a half-breed. And YouTube does not want to represent hateful people. Advertisers do not want to represent hateful people, which is why we have these guidelines. And for more insight, you should watch my previous video on Quantum TV. But for now, I'll just vaguely go over things, bring it back a little bit. What started this in the first place? Quantum TV made an Elden Ring review. Several people made a video about it.
Today I'll be giving you guys a review of Elden Ring. Essentially, I don't buy this game. The name of the game should not be called Elden Ring. The name of the game should be called You Die. Again and again and again. Because that's all you're really going to spend most of your time doing. You're going to die because the game has no easy difficulty. The difficulty spikes when you get to certain bosses. It's so unfair that you'll find yourself spending so many hours losing time away from your life.
Help! Police! Help! Help!
Quantum didn't like that, filed false copyright strikes because the videos were deemed to be in fair use, making the strike fraudulent. Well, instead of sitting down and taking his BS, the Eggman made a video about him exposing all his wrongdoings. Well, Quantum took it another step too far and called the Eggman's mother explaining everything. How her son is doing these terrible things, defaming his name, etc., etc. Veiled threats, or a form of harassment. He threatened his mom with a cease and desist letter. What is she going to do with a cease and desist letter?
He has been making a string of really defamatory posts about things he doesn't necessarily understand, and I want to try to talk about this. So, I'm trying to avoid any kind of litigation or lawsuit by talking things out, so is there any way I can get in contact with him?
I find it really funny how he asks her, is there any way I can get in contact with him? Yes, via Discord, not his mom.
I'm a bigot, I'm a homophobe, I'm committing penalty under perjury. Copyright abuse, as he uses third-party software to download my content off of my channel and then repost it after I delete it. Piracy isn't a victimless crime, as we know. Help! Police! Help! Help! By any means, if he's available to talk, or you're the guardian for him, I'd imagine, I can send over a cease and desist letter from my lawyer. This is to the point where it's getting out of hand.
With YouTube not punishing the right person, it is like them saying it is okay to harass somebody's mother online. Like, there's no harassment to be had. But just to be clear, that is harassment. He is harassing the Ackman's mother for no other reason than to intimidate the Ackman. Veiled threats, stalking, and doxing are all against YouTube's terms of service. Funny how Quantum can say, I know your dog's sister's maiden name and everything in between. I know where you live, whatever. Blast his legal name, the Ackman's real name, on Quantum's channel like it's nothing. Like that's not a part of doxing because he's doing it in a malicious manner. And I notice Quantum's narrative changes to benefit him. He'll say one thing, then go against it like he never said that initial thing, because suddenly that benefits him more. And I can't really show too many examples of that. You just have to take my word for it, because I've listened to hours and hours of this stuff. I've done tons and tons of research, but I just don't feel like I have the means of making this huge video if it's just going to be deleted by YouTube because of a cucumber. After doing research for this video, I did stumble across Westside Tech's video explicitly saying, 1. Quantum Apotheosis was terminated. 2. Quantum has harassed Westside Tech before.
This your boy Westside Tech, and happy days a day, man. Quantum Apotheosis got his channel taken down. After he took my channel down, complained he couldn't have a simple rivalry on YouTube, which was cool. And we go back and forth, just have some fun on YouTube. He got to the dirty part of YouTube and calling me a pal and calling me ignorant, and what else he called me? Racial slurs with different accounts.
Now, I found this clip really interesting for 2 reasons. The first one I've already mentioned, Apotheosis being terminated. Second, this is so Quantum TV. He accused this man of being a P-word, and he's doing the exact same thing now to Review Tech USA. No proof, just straight allegations. Calling someone a P-word is very damaging to somebody's career. Being one has destroyed EDP445's career. It's in the toilet, just like that pic he sent to the person he thought was a little girl. And I'm not going to go into any further detail than that, just if you know, you know. How much proof do you need? This video and my last video has so much proof, and YouTube still hasn't done anything. The Ackman's videos have way more proof that this man is basically just a walking tsunami of hate. I do feel like the Ackman's original message has been lost due to time and all this confusion and back and forth, and it's that we should all exist together, even if we don't like each other, unless you're abusing the system and going against terms of service to harass and bully people, to spew hate speech, and other things like that. Other than that, we're free to hate each other if we want. It's basically what the Ackman said. But once again, I digress. I'm gonna get into why I still believe Quantum TV is bannabating. Because I did some research of my own with the Wayback Machine. I showed a little bit of it at the very beginning of this video as a teaser. because I found some interesting dates.
Now, do you have proof to refute the witness's claims or not?
Can I prove something like that? Do I really have evidence that he's been changing his channel's URL?
Are you a lawyer? Or just a big old...
My entire case is resting on this moment. If I let up now, this hateful copyright abuser will get off scot-free. I have to think about this from a different angle. I don't need to prove that Quantum Apotheosis was banned. I need to show that he changed the URL. And here's my final proof!
Take that!
But that's the evidence Mr. TV just submitted as proof that he isn't ban evading?
Quite the contrary. This link Quantum is using to prove his innocence is the very thing that will seal his fate. Quantum claims this link leads to the missing channel Apotheosis. So I asked myself, what would happen if I put this link into the Wayback Machine? There it is. Irrefutable evidence of ban evasion.
This is also what I got when I put in that link. I found that video of the shout out to Quantum Apotheosis. Clicked on the link, it went to Next Gen Gamers. Thought that was interesting, highlighted it, put it into the Wayback Machine, and as of April 21st, 2022, it still was banned. It still was banned for hate speech, but all of a sudden, here in June, it's awake again and not banned. How could that be? Well, one reason would be Quantum hit it as soon as it was banned, his appeal was denied. Second, his appeal was not denied and he instantly privated it, but that doesn't explain why even in April, privated, it still says it was banned. And I can only think, isn't it interesting that 3 days after this initial screenshot was when the search term for Quantum TV peaked, as if he knew his past was catching up with him. And let us not forget, nothing happened up to this point for 4 years, not since June of 2018. Then all of a sudden, in April of 2022, it takes another screenshot because it was just unprivated, and then, boom, maybe he did change the URL. So now it's a new channel, Next Gen Gamers, and not Apotheosis anymore. Because like the admin said, you can change the URL of your channel. Then after this, I went to Next Gen Gamers Social Blade. Funnily enough, the last time it was used was June 2018. And this is important because that's when Quantum Apotheosis was banned. Then boom, in May, a massive purge in video views. Massive purge. Now why would you do that exactly? It couldn't be you had something to hide, could it? Couldn't be that this is a completely different channel than Apotheosis, could it? And unfortunately, there were no snapshots taken until a couple days ago now, in June. So that purge of videos right before that was not captured. So we have no way of knowing what was on the channel before that. All those millions of views that he deleted, or privated as he likes to say. Play with words like Amber Heard, pledge donation, it's not the same thing. Now just to reiterate what I previously said, on April 21st, 2022, the Wayback Machine still said the channel was terminated for violating terms of service, aka hate speech. And then only 2 months after that, Next Gen Gamers was a thing. Now why would that be? If he wasn't able to appeal his channel, then how does that link work and not go straight to a terminated channel? Well, he probably copy and pasted Quantum Apotheosis to this Next Gen Gamers, which is another side channel he had at the same time as Apotheosis, and Quantum TV. Boom, bam, now the link looks different in the Wayback Machine. And now it works. So if this is what it looks like, he's 100% ban evading, There's no ifs, ands, or buts. If this is true, what I just said from my speculation, the Yak Man was right all along. But once again, as of editing this, June 9th, YouTube has said the reason why his channel was demonetized is because of some joke tweets he made about doxing. Because apparently, according to YouTube, it was perfectly fine for Quantum to dox him, so he made a joke saying, oh, picture on the beach, off to dox someone, and that's why. To protect the YouTube community is to take down the Actman's channel, because he was the threat, because he called Quantum's mom, because he posted Quantum's real name on his second channel, because he threatened a cease and desist to Quantum's mom, right? No, that is not what happened. This is just absolute BS. If anything, it is damage control, trying to find a real true reason as to why they demonetized his whole channel after one strike. That was a warning strike, so technically he had 3 more. And don't get me wrong, I love YouTube, but YouTube needs to get its ish together. I'm not joking. It's funny, when it benefits YouTube, they'll look back at deleted tweets, archives tweets. They wouldn't look at archives of Quantum, tons of evidence they wouldn't look at. And I've mentioned before, I don't particularly like Keemstar. But even in this situation, I have to agree with Keemstar.
Have a serious conversation. You just put out a tweet saying the reason that Ackman's whole entire channel was demonetized, he was removed from the partnership program, was because he put out a tweet threatening to dox YouTube employees, all right? And that you take the safety of YouTube employees very serious, all right? There's a lot of issues with this. One, Ackman's tweet was a joke, all right? And to explain the joke, it's very simple. You know, he was doxed by Quantum TV. He went to YouTube and said, I'm being doxed by this guy. There's a recording of the doxing. He's literally calling Ackman TV's mom, and no action was taken. So he's making a joke on Twitter that doxing is okay. It is a joke. Everybody knows it's a joke. Me and Jake Lucky, eSport reporter, never agree on anything. We're in agreement on this.
So this is the biggest injustice I've seen on YouTube in a really long time. Besides what happened to Totally Not Mark's channel, and that was a major injustice by itself. But this is a YouTube-specific issue. It is YouTube going against its creators, silencing them, silencing the Ackman, completely demolishing everything he's built over the past 7 years because of a joke tweet. And what does Quantum get? Absolutely nothing. Not even a slap on the wrist, not a strike, not anything. For ban evading, hate speech, all these different things that I went over previously is apparently fine if Quantum does it. But if the Ackman jokes about it, well, I guess God forbid. Sorry about my rant, but this has really been getting to me over the past few months, how YouTube just keeps doing nothing. And now they finally do something, and it's the complete wrong thing. I mean, they didn't help Jellybean in her situation when she was being doxxed and bullied online. Straight harassment. I've noticed YouTube only takes action when it benefits them as a company, to protect advertisers, AdSense, not to protect the very creators that make them money on this platform. What makes YouTube special? Its creators. They're all individuals, and their voices matter. My only hope is that justice will be served at a point. One day maybe the Ackman will be remonetized. Maybe one day, if that never happens, Quantum will finally be taken off this platform because he's the reason for all of this. YouTube has quite literally started a war with its creators. And that is a scary thought, because I do like my channel, and I do like the community that we're building here on this channel. So, if I'm gone tomorrow, please know that it was a fun ride, and I'm glad you all took it with me. But please let me know what you think down in the comments below. Use the hashtag JusticeForAckman on Twitter, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!